Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit. What do we have here? It appears to be a game by Blue Manchu. It appears to be called Card Hunters, and I appear to have John with me to talk about it. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Right. So tell me a little bit about Card Hunters. What's it all about?
So Card Hunter is our attempt to kind of do a new take on collectible card gaming.
Okay.
And one thing we really wanted to do is create a collectible card game where you can win cards by playing the game.
Right.
So unlike most CCGs, it's built around an extensive single-player campaign.
Uh-huh.
And that single-player campaign is a kind of a classic D&D fantasy adventure.
All right.
You win cards by playing through that game and beating the monsters in the campaign.
Sure.
It's actually a little more complicated than that because our deck building is, well, we think we've got a kind of a unique twist on it, and you build your decks by equipping items on your characters.
Yep. All right, well, let's play it and find out what's going on with it. So, noticing the very classic style of box right there.
Yeah, it's the whole game is kind of visually themed around classic D&D.
Okay.
Maybe sort of like late 70s, early 80s D&D,
Sure.
which we really love.
Okay.
And this is your Game Master, Gary, who's
Yep.
kind of setting the scene for you. He will, he guides you through the campaign. He's not your adversary. He's your Game Master, you know, like he wants you to have a good time.
Yeah. The Game Master is, of course, neutral in such things.
Yes. Well, maybe he gets a little conflicted about whether he wants the monsters to win or you to win. But he cares.
Well, that's the greatest gift of all.
And here we are in the battle. Gary is still kind of setting the scene for you. He's a little concerned now because you're fighting some lizardmen warriors.
Sure.
And a skeletal sorcerer. These down the bottom of the screen are your party, each one of which has their own deck and has their own hand of cards.
Okay.
Now, what's in their hand at any one time is what you can do this round.
Sure.
You will play through a round, alternating turns with Gary,
okay,
who's controlling the monsters. Each of you will play a card, and then when you've both finished playing, a new round will start. The cards are all color-coded, so you were looking at an attack card there, which is red.
Yep.
As in most CCGs, a lot of the cards have special abilities, which you can look at by you were zooming in on them before. Mm-hmm. The blue cards are movement cards, so even movement is controlled by cards in this game. The characters have no inherent movement abilities, and different characters have different amount of move cards in their deck, so they're not all going to move at the same amount.
All right, well, I'm going to start with an arcing zap. That seems to make sense. It jumps to 3 targets. Let's give it a try.
It's always a good start. So you hit 2 of them there, which was good. Not ideal, but it's certainly a decent opening. Gary's just telling you that we have a lot of mouse over text. We try to make the game very self-explanatory.
Yep.
That's a 4 damage, 6 range, attack. Basic magic attack. It has no special abilities.
Yep.
Fireball, of course, you can see it has burst 2, so it blows up in a big 3x3 radius.
Okay.
Burning 2 means it will attach to the targets that it hits, and they will burn again at the start of the next round. Okay. So it's got some damage over time.
That looks like a good spot to throw it.
That's a great spot for a fireball. So yeah, you can see the little copies of the cards stick to the lizard men there.
Okay.
And if you mouse over them again in your turn, that card, well, if you click away Gary's prompt, he's telling you can look at the log. So right-click on the character, and you can see that fireball is now attached to that the lizard man, and it will hang around for a round, and at the start of the next round, it will burn them again. So that's our way of doing status effects, basically.
Yeah. I think it's immediately familiar to me as someone that's played a lot of CCG and also played a lot of board games. So.
Yeah. Well, it pretty much is a mix between those two things.
Yeah. All right, what will be the best way to deal with this? I'd like to do some more range damage. I'm rapidly burning through the amount of spells that I have, and these guys otherwise don't have a huge amount.
One other card that you've got there in Father Ordos's hand is Inspiration, which is a draw a card card.
Okay.
So if you feel like you need some more spells, you can cast that on Idris, so is your elf wizard.
There we go.
And she got a teleport, which is actually a very handy card. And can be used to teleport anyone. So you can push some of your guys forward, or you can use it to bring the monsters to you or push them away as you like. Very flexible, powerful card.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we teleport other on this fellow right here, right into the fray, perhaps behind this guy.
Yeah, well, it only moves 3, unfortunately, but you can certainly get him up
Close
there.
Enough. We can put him right up front.
Yeah, well, he's a dwarf warrior, so he's a tank. He definitely wants to be up the front. Okay, so what happened here is Borgo the dwarf's block triggered.
Okay.
Now, blocks and armor in our game are not played. They're triggered when the character holding them is attacked. So this block has now triggered, and if you click past Gary's prompt, you will roll to see whether it succeeded. You roll a 2, so unfortunately it failed. Now your armor is triggered. This armor will succeed on a 1+. In other words, you're going to have to try pretty hard to not have this succeed.
That would be an interesting failure state.
But it only blocked 2 damage.
Right.
It stops 2 damage, whereas a block will completely neutralize the attack.
Definitely.
The armor also returned to your hand, which is very useful.
All right, there's a quick chop through him. He's going to walk forward. Everyone else is also moving forward. The burn triggers on him, I guess. So
those burns will trigger at the start of the next round.
Okay. All right, so situation we're currently in. It would be good to get him up in play because right now he's not able to do all that many useful things, so we might bring him to the flank there. There we go.
You got hit by a swarming attack, which you blocked, which is great, because that would have done a lot of damage. Now, the block, because you blocked a melee attack, the special rules on the shield block said you got to draw a card as well.
Oh, wonderful.
So you got a new obliterating chop, and our chops hit 2 targets at once, and it's 10 damage, so that's an awesome card. You can see it as
seems like overkill against these guys. They're sitting on 1 health each.
But it's always great to take guys out, because it means they'll draw less cards next turn.
Indeed, so let's do just that. Down you go.
Now, you got some victory stars for killing them, which means you're heading towards winning the battle.
Well, it took a little bit of damage. The armor dealt with most of it, so that's not too shabby. All right, so she does have a bolt. Might want to focus on him. He's being a...
Yeah, he's hanging around the back being a pain, so it's always good to whittle him down.
Then, shall we? What kind of sorcery is that? There we go.
He hit you with an arcing zap of his own, which is going to damage all 3 of you. That's a nasty attack.
A little unpleasant. All right, so I'm running out of cards here. You were mentioning if you pass the turn, you get to draw.
So passing is an interesting part of this game. Passing will pass priority to your opponent. He played, so the round is not over yet, and now you may play again, or you can pass again.
Okay.
If you pass and then he passes, the round will end.
Okay.
And the person who passes first gets to go first next turn. So passing is a very strategic part of the game, actually.
Okay. Well, let's burn through the rest of our attack cards before we do anything like that. So, he can't block
because you're attacking him from behind.
Well, let's get rid of him then. Okay, he's off the field. We're going to take a little bit of damage here by the looks of it.
Now, good thing you could heal here or you could pass, and passing might be nice because he's probably going to pass too. He's very low on cards. He passed, and that's going to give you initiative next round.
Wonderful. And suddenly things are revealed. All right. So let's start picking a few folks off. What's this all about?
Now, Force Bolt, pretty weak attack, just does 1 damage, but pushes people away.
Yep, useful if you want to force them to use a movement card in order to get back into melee range.
And great for a wizard who doesn't like people standing next to them.
Indeed, we've got Bludgeon.
Bludgeon's just a basic attack. A Bash is a nice, powerful attack that also pushes someone back.
Okay, well, let's do the bash there. I'm noticing that if you happen to be within melee range with only 1 target, it's just going to do it automatically.
We do a lot of auto-targeting to try to speed up the play. Now, something you might have missed that happened there is the Skeletal Sorcerer tripped. If you mouse over him, you'll see that card pop up. And if you right-click, you can read it.
Okay.
That is a black card, which is a drawback. And it's a trait, which means it must be played when it's drawn.
Ah, okay.
And that is now attached to him, and he can't move for the rest of the round. So it's a good time to kind of move in and take him out.
Indeed. So we're going to try and do just that. Lizard Man is now moving forward. We've got a strong hack, which would kill him if we can get close. So let's walk forward.
And he can't retreat because he's tripped, so he's definitely vulnerable there.
How horribly unfortunate for him. We surely won't exploit that.
No.
It's
a bit too easy.
Indeed. All right, Game Master has passed. I have no reason to pass, so I don't want to draw more cards.
You can keep beating on him at this stage.
I'm going to heal up my fellow here. Yep, you're still passing. All right, I'm fine with that because I have Bludgeon. Beat the snot out of him for a little bit.
And I think if you can hit him with that last bolt, he will be. He's hiding behind the pillar there, so you're going to have to move into position.
Yes, I see it on the ground there. That's actually a pillar, and makes sense from a board game standpoint.
Yep.
Looks like that. Okay, we'll move there.
Terrain and positioning very important in Card Hunter. All right,
Indeed.
he's just hanging on, so you're going to have to pass and hope and just finish him off next round.
Shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Now
I don't think.
you have to discard down. Each character can only retain 2 cards, so
Okay.
you'll have to throw out one of Borgo's
Well,
cards.
let's get rid of parry. I don't think we're going to need that one. We should keep walk just in case he gets an attack card,
Good idea.
which he has. But I also have a fireball, so. Although that fireball is that going to hit a friendly target as well?
It will, but
I'll survive it, though.
you're going to live through it at this stage.
I'm
It's
okay
always
with
a
that.
fun way to end the battle.
It's a noble sacrifice.
Yes.
A mild singeing of the hairline. There we go.
So congratulations, you've beat your first card hunter battle, and you will get some treasure.
Well, let's open the chest and see what we get.
And you got a legendary sword, the Gold Leaf Blade.
It's hard to complain about that.
This now illustrates sort of the most important part about deck building in Card Hunter, which is that cards come from items. So this is a sword that when you equip it will put these 6 cards into your deck. And they are 5 attack cards and 1 parry.
That's pretty significant, I would have guessed.
And yeah, it's got that obliterating chop, which is a very powerful card.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a look at Borgo's character sheet on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see that his deck is entirely made up from the items that he is equipped.
So, as a result of having Defender's Axe, he has Perfect Block, which appears to be some kind of epic card.
Right. So you can customize your deck by choosing which kinds of items you want to put in it. If you want to go for a sort of defensive tank build, you might pick the Defender's Axe and a bunch of other defensive weapons.
Okay.
So that slot is empty at the moment, so it has a bunch of really weak cards in it. And if you put that legendary sword in, you'll replace them with some better cards.
Okay. So these have now got into my deck.
That's correct. Gary's just happy down the bottom of the screen, and if you click him past him, you will continue. So each of the characters has their own sheet, which you can tab through. One thing that we think is interesting about this system is not only that we can create a bunch of interestingly different items, but if you have a look at, for example, that skill, which is on the top right of the character sheet there, it looks like a torn piece of paper. You can see that has a couple of black cards in it. And if you right-click on those, you can read what they are.
Yeah, those are actually disadvantages.
They are disadvantages. And the point is they come with that item. So you might actually want to have them not have them in your deck, but if you want to take the fork, which is a very powerful card, you're going to have to take them with them.
Take the risk that you get there. That's an interesting twist, honestly. I mean, let's be honest, there aren't many CCGs that force you to take bad cards.
Correct, yeah.
And usually, if they do, they give you a way of getting rid of them. Here, you do actually have to make that choice, which that's an interesting twist on things.
Yeah, so that's for example, why you might have a card like the Trip that the Skeleton played in the last battle.
All right.
So if you continue onward, you can get your opportunity to try to beat Green Fang.
Sure.
Which will be definitely be tougher than the last battle.
We'll give it a shot. See if my experience is any use whatsoever in this kind of situation. All right, so he's a Viridian Dragon. He's got 50 HP. We have to look out for that.
He has a pretty sizable hand, but there's only one of him.
All right, okay then. Well, let's start getting into position. He might have some ranged attacks. I don't know yet, so perhaps using the pillars might be useful to avoid that. So first things first, we will walk forward in this direction. See what he has to do.
So he has Fly as his regular move, which is fast
basically.
and can cross over difficult terrain.
Sure, okay. All right. I'll have a dash her to the corner, behind the pillar.
Oh, okay, so this is what Green Fang is all about. He's hit you with some acid. Now that has laid down a terrain attachment.
Okay.
And if you mouse over that, one of those acid squares, you can see that it came from this card. And just like with status effects, you can read the effects from the card.
Yeah.
Acid will do 5 damage to you and destroy your armor if you're standing on it at the start of the next round. So you do have the rest of the round to get off it.
So that's not too bad. All right, well, we could start with a powerful zap. A penetrating bolt might be nice, I guess. He's pretty heavily armored.
He hasn't revealed his armor yet, but it's certainly possible that he has some in his hand.
Well, let's open fire.
And he does have a resistant hide armor, which you pass through with your penetrating bolt.
Okay. Gonna hop over in this direction. Is he close enough? I might be able to charge at him.
Charge is a movement card that moves you in a straight line. You're actually already next to him. Yeah.
So, okay, a perforating strike, which I imagine penetrating also goes through armor.
Correct.
Let's smack him about a little bit then. All right.
So the armor succeeded, but you still did 5 damage because of the penetrating. Now he has some pretty hefty melee attacks.
Okay, so I'm taking a bit of damage here. I need to get... Actually, am I still in healing range? I actually am. So keeping him back there might be useful, but he also has some fairly hefty power as well. So
your priest has no direct attacks this turn. He does have a bunch of helper cards, including Cleansing Burst, which will clear away bad terrain. And that's a very useful card to have in this battle, obviously.
Okay, well, let's get rid of that so that... I would like to stay behind this pillar for the moment.
So he came right back and spewed some more acid out.
Typical. He cares not for my pillar.
No, he doesn't.
Okay, fair enough. But I've still got a few cards left, so I don't need to pass the round of it just yet. Does she have a way of getting... She doesn't have a way of moving. Super annoying. Okay, well, we'll just have to deal with it.
You do have an inspiration still in your priest's hand, and she might... You could try to inspire her to draw a move card. There's no guarantees. You have to click on her. Yep. She just got another attack.
All right, so we're going to claw that for the moment. Both of my guys are going to take some pretty heavy hits, and you say that actually kills armor as well, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. So the dwarf definitely
charge.
Wants to get off it, and he could kind of waste the charge to just move a little distance.
I think it's worth it, considering. So we'll head over in this direction. Okay, so even that's probably going to penetrate. Yes, it is. This guy is not messing around.
No, but he's very low on cards now, so
now would be a time if we can endure to just lay into him with everything we've got. So, okay.
Now, unfortunately, she's behind the pillar, so she can't see him.
Hoisted by my own petard. All right. Okay, then. Okay, well, I've had no abilities there. I could do greater heal. She's looking a bit down, so... Okay, she's back up, so now passing. I can teleport other, but not myself.
No, now you can use that to teleport.
I can teleport the dragon.
Yes, but if you could see the dragon, you could teleport it.
Well, that puts me in a really awkward spot.
She's going to have to throw one of them out, unfortunately.
Yep. Yeah. That's irritating.
Well, the powerful zap is actually not a very useful, not a very good.
Well, we're going to have to pass then, I guess.
So one of the indicators as to what you might throw out is the color on top of the card.
Yeah.
That indicates its relative value. So gold cards are ones that we think are pretty powerful.
Sure. More wonderful acid. Just
he
what I
loves
always
his
wanted.
acid.
He does indeed. Okay, so Teleport Self. That would be a good start.
Teleport Self is a great card for moving around. You don't have to stop when you move through the acid.
Yep. Top over there.
Now you parried that melee attack, which drew you another card. So that was a very handy piece of defensive work. Attack skill is a search card that will search through your deck and pull up more attacks.
Well, we don't need it just yet, but a Perforating Strike would not go amiss. So let's hit him with what we got.
And he now has 2 armor cards in his hand, so you definitely need to be wary of that.
This is going to hurt. This is going to hurt a lot. He's actually very low in health. I have to wonder if there's any way I can save him.
It's a good question. Team Shift is kind of useful because it lets your whole team move, but right now it's not necessarily going to help.
No.
One thing you could do is teleport him away, or you could try to teleport the dragon away from him.
Yeah.
If you can put the dragon on acid, he will take damage from it. Although I see he still has a fly card in his hand,
so he's going to be able to get away.
He's going to be able to escape from that.
I could at least throw him across the side and force him to use the fly card to get back into the melee, which give me a chance to actually do something else.
Correct.
All right. So what's... Oh, great. I can put him right next to my wizard. That's going to go well.
Well, it might be a better spot up there, yeah.
Yeah, over here. Okay. Put you over in that direction.
He didn't like it there, so he's coming after your priest.
Please beat on the priest. The priest cares not.
Well, actually, that was a great move for you because Strong Bash is actually a knockback card.
Well, that's going to knock him right back in the acid, then have to move again in order to do anything.
And I think he might be out of moves by now.
Yeah,
so.
But he may still have acid jet, but we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, see what you can do.
All right, you're going that way, sir.
His armor failed, and one succeeded. But he got knocked back. And he had another fly. And he's an annoying dragon.
He is indeed. All right, well, I'm out of range with Sorcerer's Bolt, but I can dash. We can also boil armor, which would be useful because it's got 2 of those.
Extremely useful, yeah.
All right, well, first things first, we need to dash into range to make that work. So we're going over here. More acid. How wondrous. Well, okay, that should be fine. Well, first thing we're going to do is boil armor.
No! You're behind a pillar again.
Oh, Lord.
But you do have the Team Shift still in your hand, so that's actually a perfect time for that.
Will that let me... If I move there, is that going to be in line of sight of him?
Yes, I believe it will be.
All right, let's make that happen then. Okay, good.
First of all, we'll move the priest.
Let's get him out of the acid.
Yep.
I actually can't see the... Oh, sorry, that's the acid, right. So if I move him here, he will not be in the acid.
Correct.
Okay, great. So we can move one with him into the acid. Let's not do that. We'll just bump him along there. He moves here. That's got line of sight. And then we can start unloading. Game Master is passing. Good news for me. All right. Let's start with the armor.
You boiled his armor off, which is very nice.
Armor is now gone. So let's then throw a Sorcerer's Bolt down.
4 points. Good.
Yep. Okay, not bad. He's still on 28, so this is difficult. We might want to start drawing, I think.
Well, I'm not sure you can use those attack cards this round, so drawing 2 attack cards might be a mistake because you'll just have to throw them out at the end of the round.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. Even if I walk, it's not going to help me all that much.
You might want to start, he could start lumbering over towards the dragon. Or
yeah, let's do that, so at least we've got another card to use. I have a feeling Acid Jet is coming right down here.
Oh, man. We've had a crash.
Yep. It happens.
Sorry.
Well, beta is beta and so on and so
Yes.
forth. Actually, coming on to that subject, how far are you away from release with this game?
We would like to get it out this year, but as you can see, there's still a few teething problems.
Naturally.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get pushed back into early next year.
Sure. This is currently a web-based game.
It is a Flash game, so you can see that it's running in a browser window, which we just had maximized there. We've gone to a lot of trouble to kind of make it accessible. So it loads. You just go to the website and load. It's a pretty small client, and it loads up pretty quickly.
Yeah. So what's your business model with this game then?
It's a freemium game.
Okay.
So there'll be a very large amount of free-to-play content.
Yeah.
We'll have some cosmetic items, maybe some additional content that you can purchase as well.
And from a multiplayer standpoint, is this the kind of game that you're going to be able to play with your friends?
That you're going to be able to.
Are you going to be able to play with your friends in this game?
Yes.
It's purely single player.
Yes, there is a competitive multiplayer component that we regard as probably 50% of the game. I mean, certainly, I think some people will only be interested in the multiplayer. I guess. It's I actually personally think the multiplayer is the most fun.
Okay.
But the single player is great for learning the game and also for finding all the items in the game.
Sure.
But multiplayer is. I think presents some really interesting new tactical challenges. The deck building component of it, I think, sort of forces you to think about deck building in a very different way than you might have thought about it before.
Sure.
There are a lot of different kinds of parties you can put together because you have 3 character classes and 3 races. So you have combinations of those. So you might have an all dwarf warrior party or a 1 warrior, 1 priest, 1 wizard like we saw here. It's kind of analogous to colors in Magic.
Yep.
But on top of that, of course, you have the thousands of different items. So there are many, many different multiplayer builds and different strategies that you can follow with your multiplayer party.
All right. Well, keep an eye out over at cardhunter.com if you want any more information about this title. I assume are you going to be trying to go into beta with this fairly shortly?
Yeah, we are taking sign-ups for beta at PAX, and we'll be doing it through our website after PAX, and we certainly hope to do that in the near future.
All right, folks, if you're looking for a CCG with a little bit of classic board gaming and D&D mixed in for good measure, then this may be something that you might want to investigate. Cardhunter.com is the place to be. John, thank you very much for showing us this game today.
Thanks for your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit here from PAX 2012. I'll see you next time.